Okay, we're here again. This is Jerry Citarella with Jerry Citarella Presents, ready to educate, inspire, and enlighten. And I have a wonderful guest today, which I'll introduce in a moment. But please, please, please make sure to share, make sure to like, make sure to follow. We're stepping up the frequency of these videos again. You went through my Build It project where you watch this office built out. We're in my studio in the office now. We're going to be doing these regularly, and I have a great guest today and more to come. So make sure that you subscribe so you can see them early and often. So today I have Bree Roberts with the File Group, right?
Correct.
And Bree is a realtor. And just to get it out there, since it's kind of obvious, delivering a baby.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
November 27th.
November 27th, a little baby girl.
Yep.
Do you have a name?
Presley.
Presley, I like it.
Yes.
Okay. Presley. You know, I'm able to be a godfather and babysit and all that cool stuff.
That's great. The list keeps getting longer for babysitters, and I love it.
Yeah, my wife and I, because our kids are 21 and gone.
Yeah.
We had a little baby on our arms last night, and when we get around little kids, it's kind of neat, and we are always available to babysit. So just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. We live close to each other, so we're there for you. The Godfather thing, forget about that. I'm not a good influence. But Bree is a realtor.
Yes.
And you've been doing this now for
9.5 years.
9.5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been doing it here in Orange County, Arizona, and Colorado. So 3 states separately, and kind of have a good experience going through all 3 of them.
Okay.
Licensed the longest in Arizona, but here the second longest.
Okay. I didn't know Colorado. I knew Arizona. Okay.
All 3.
And where do you mostly work in Colorado?
Denver area.
Okay.
So Denver area and the suburbs surrounding. That's kind of where I focus on.
Okay. I actually got invited to go to Colorado. We're going in the next month to month and a half. It's going to be a little chilly.
The weather should be...
Well, the deal is my friend and I were golfing
actually.
yesterday. He has some people he knows and works with in Colorado, and they have a great course, and we were calling them. So we're going to try to fly out there for a day just to go golfing and then come back.
Okay. Hopefully soon then before it snows.
We're trying.
Yeah,
We're
you
trying.
have to.
I've never been there.
Otherwise the
I've never
snow will
been
close
there.
you guys down.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to get into some real estate stuff with you.
Yeah.
I know real estate is something that I think people have inclinations about, but there's a lot of confusion. Interest rates are high. Are people buying? What are prices doing? Are prices going to go up? Prices going to go down? There's so many things that I think this is a perfect time to bring someone like you in who's in the middle of it. And I love the fact also that you're in multiple states.
Yeah.
Because, this is social media, which means it's all over the place. So I think having a view of different states and different markets gives you some better insight than someone that just is focused in one area.
Yeah.
And your main area, though, now here is Newport Beach?
Yeah, so like Corona Del Mar, Newport Beach, Dana Point, even Irvine, too.
Okay, so a cool market.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we met, just so you guys know, I was walking down the street, and we were watching this house being built, you know the story, and it was this beautiful home that was going up about, 3 blocks from the beach?
Yes.
And it was finally done, and there was an open house, and I walked in and said, we're not buying, but we've just watched this thing being built, and you said, every neighbor's been here.
Seriously, I think I met every neighbor at that open house.
Yeah, and that house sold for how much?
7.65. It actually closed and recorded last week. So that's the front unit. The back unit I can't disclose yet, but that should be closing next month.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And both were beautiful. But it gives you an idea, being in that market, of some of the higher end stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And I know working out in Arizona, there's different markets.
It's a mix.
And a lot of people go to Arizona because it's less expensive than California. And I don't know the Denver market at all, but I'm assuming there's a mix there as well.
Denver's more similar to here in California, I would say. Now these days. Before it used to be more similar to Arizona, but it's gotten so expensive there. It's crazy.
Okay. So tell me what you're seeing. I know the markets are interesting, and they've been interesting for a while. And I know a lot of realtors, and I know a lot are struggling. And that's because there's just not a lot of transactions going on in different places. So what are you seeing? What are you feeling?
I feel like no matter whether it's this market or the frenzy that was happening a while ago, no matter what, everyone's just waiting for the right time to buy. I feel like that's always what everyone says. But interest rates are now at 6%, which is the lowest it's been in the last year. So it's not too bad. And I feel like there's more inventory. There's But the problem is, since there's more inventory and the houses are sitting for a little bit longer, buyers have the more opportunity to look at more homes. Before it was like one showing and you're writing an offer, otherwise the house is going to be gone. Now they're like, okay, well, this is my top 5, so I want to look at this house another 3 or 4 times before I decide. I feel like that's not only like here in Orange County. I feel like I'm seeing it in Arizona, Colorado, so I feel like it's more of a national thing of, you know, it's a great time to be a buyer in the buyer's market. I wouldn't get too hung up on the interest rates, because if you don't like it and they go down to 5, well, you could refinance before prices skyrocket.
Right. So are you not seeing as many multiple offers now?
No.
Because I know that was crazy for a while.
Yeah, that was a great market.
Yeah, I know a lot of realtors had a strategy where they said, let's price it a little bit lower so we can have a bidding war. And there was a bunch of different interesting things going on when it was crazy.
That's funny you say that. I actually worked specifically for a company in Arizona where we did create a bidding war, and we like sold homes in 72 hours. And it worked. It worked like a charm, but now it's you need to price the home appropriately, because if you don't, it's just going to sit and you're going to do multiple price drops. And then by the time you do that, 6 months go by and buyers are like, what's wrong with this house? Why isn't it selling? Is there something going on? So yeah, I would stay away from that, because there's not multiple offers anymore.
Well, I've seen a few in our neighborhood that have been for sale for maybe as many as 2 or 3 months now.
Yes.
And that's now these are bigger houses and they're, you know, unique, but typically things are selling. And
I know.
So I don't know if they're priced too high or what the situation is, but it's really changed quite a bit. When I know for a while you weren't even putting a sign in the ground. You didn't have time.
No. It was great. Now you for sure need to put a sign on and be patient and price it right. Otherwise you're kind of, you back yourself in a corner.
So how important does your role become as a realtor when it's not as easy to sell, or as you're helping buyers, they have more options? I know before it was, let's list your house, it'll sell.
Yeah.
Or we have to go look at something, you have to buy the first one you like. I mean, it's changed a lot. So how do you shift to advise better?
I think what's most important is, like, for all my sellers or my listings, it's very, I tell them up front, like, this isn't going to be a night and day. Like, we're not going to go under contract right away. You have to be prepared to do all the steps of the coming soon, the pre-marketing. We have to do really great photos, and you have to be patient. Like, you just have to be patient. We have to price it right. So it's more of a conversation like that with the sellers. And for buyers, unfortunately, buyers are really understanding the market, I think, more than sellers are. So they're more like, I should get everything I want. It's my world. Everyone else is living in it. So I think it's more advising them that if this is a house you want, we have to come up with an even middle ground between the seller and you as the buyer for this property, and just advising them on that. And also to telling them, there are some buyers, you need concessions, you need closing costs covered. So there's an opportunity for buyers that maybe can't afford as much right now, where if you want to buy something, and now is a good time, because you can get concessions, you can get closing costs covered. So I feel like it's a mix out there.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that buyers and sellers are having different perceptions. Are sellers still thinking they can get are they still a little off base in terms of their realistic expectations?
Way off base.
Okay.
They're way off base. I feel like they want to get a crazy price. Or the issue is I'm seeing people that bought in 2021, 2022. They bought for way too high because the market was insane.
Right.
And they're not happy where they live. So now they want to sell it. And unfortunately, like, now where they're selling is lower than what they bought at. So it's hard to get them to understand, like, unfortunately, like, you kind of made a bad decision and you bought it way too high with the agent you were working with, and you either need to sit and get a little bit more equity, or you kind of just have to suck it up and take less.
Yeah, which is tough. Yeah, people
Yeah.
getting themselves in a situation they get stuck in. So let's talk other realtors. I know, like I said, it's been tough for realtors in general for a while. And, we all need to eat, we all need to make money, we all need to make a living. And I know sometimes realtors will just take a listing just to take it at whatever price the seller thinks it's worth. Are you seeing that slow down a little bit, where you're not like losing listings because some agent is pricing it 10% above what it should be, or 15% just to get it on the market?
Yeah, I feel like that's happening a lot. And the problem is, I don't know, those agents don't make it very long because you're not advising your clients from the very beginning. You're putting them at jeopardy. You're putting the house at jeopardy from selling, and you're just like, you're lying to them. And I feel like that's just they don't last that long at all.
Okay. But you're still seeing it.
Oh yeah, you're still seeing it all the time.
Never going to stop.
No, I don't think it'll ever stop.
So you'll pass up a listing.
Yes, it's
If
not worth it.
It's not worth your time, not worth
No.
their time. Why have these unrealistic expectations?
No, it's just like, it's not worth it, especially if we're on two different fields. There is times too where if a seller wants to sell higher, I provide all the comps and all the data behind it, and I say, this is where I think we should start. But if you want to start here, I'll start here for the first week. But I want to advise you that this is where the market's showing we should be at. And then a week later, they're like, okay, Bree, you were right. Let's drop the price to where we need to be at. So I feel like it's just being very upfront at first. Otherwise, yeah, it's not worth it.
So put you on the spot
Yeah.
a little bit because it's fun. You or your company, what do you think that you or your company or you and your company combined do that's special, unique, something a little bit different in the market or in the real estate world?
Well, I'm a part of Compass, not only here in Arizona, but also in California.
So the File Group is the name of your company, but you're part of the Compass organization, which is a very large organization, publicly traded, lots of agents around the world.
And they've been buying up so many brokerages. It's insane. And I feel like, coming from other brokerages that I've been at, one thing that puts us apart is our private exclusive listings. It's the only kind of company we have the most amount of private exclusives, which means that if you're a buyer looking in the market, we have access to so many off markets compared to any other company. And it's nice. So majority of homes sell between Compass to Compass agents because we have access to that. But also just with the File Group here in CDM, like, we're the number one team here. And I feel like the way we market homes, Janelle, like one of our team leads, she's an appraiser for 20 years. So she has an appraisal background, so she's really good at pricing. And we're a smaller group, but it's tight-knit. And I just feel like we have a really good flow of the way we do things. It's also why we got that listing on Goldenrod I met you at. We co-listed with another agent in Compass, but she wanted to co-list with us because we're so good within CDM.
Okay. So even your partners and competitors know that you're the place to go.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I know, again, this is an area where you're working in Newport Beach. There's a lot of investors, a lot of investment properties.
Tons.
And I know right now the market has been at a place, I'm talking to clients and people, where they're a little concerned. Maybe we're at some sort of height, and if rates come down, there's always this idea that maybe prices will take off. But I think with the growth we've had over the last, 3 to 5 years, anybody can look at the real estate market and say it's done extremely well. And if you're maybe an older investor or you have a whole bunch of properties and maybe there's one that you don't love, a lot of people are looking to maybe get out of those, but they have a huge tax gain, which will be taxable. So I know you work in that area. Can you want to talk about that a little bit? And then how we can kind of work together on that and sometimes?
So I feel like if there is an investor that's going to be wanting to purchase a property or something, or they're selling a property, doing the 1031 exchange, if they need to buy something, it kind of depends if they still want to be an investor, if they don't want to be an investor. I'll let you kind of get into it, but they can put their money somewhere else.
So explain what a 1031 exchange is. I know a lot of people know what it is, but I've met people over the years that have these investment properties that they say, one in particular, the house is having issues, and he just said, I just don't like this property anymore, and I wish I can get out of it, but I bought it for $100,000 and it's worth $1 million, and the tax is too much, so I'm stuck.
So it's buying a property that's an investment, whether you're renting it out or have it as an Airbnb, and you're taking that property and you're selling it and you're putting it into a like-kind property. You then you need to be associated with someone that specifically does 1031 exchanges to do all the documentation. There's usually a fee along with that, which I don't think a lot of people understand, but there is a fee. And you have to secure a property. I think it's within 160 to 180 days, depending on the state. But you have to find something. It has to be like-kind, has to be similar price, and all of that in order not to get any taxes.
It has to have equal or greater debt.
Yes, exactly.
So there's some rules around it.
There's a lot of rules. I don't think people understand. I think people just think you could do a 1031 and it's done and easy and a go, but like every time I do one, I always introduce them to someone that does 1031 exchanges, and they kind of associate, they're able to hold that money and they're kind of the bank for it, because you need to have an outside source for that, which they take a fee too, because they have to get paid.
Yeah, while they're doing a service.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've seen, probably what I've seen a couple times is someone will sell the property because they've heard of the 1031 exchange.
Yes.
And then they sell it and go, okay, now I'm going to go find one, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I've actually had that happen before, where they just don't find something that they like or that they want, or that it's even worth that price. So that does happen a lot.
Okay, so let's talk about some options there, because I know we had a discussion, and I told you I've talked to realtors about this before, and a number of realtors, for whatever reason, just weren't really open to this idea, because the 1031 exchange is a very specific situation with very specific rules.
Yeah.
And it means you have to get out of a property into a new like property, like you said.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's timing issues. Maybe someone got an offer they weren't expecting, and like, I don't want to pass up on this, but I don't have a new property. So whether it's that, or this is where it kind of gets interesting, some people say, I just want to get out of managing real estate. You know, you've done it your whole life, you have a great portfolio, 75, 80 years old, and you just don't want to deal with toilets and tenants anymore.
Yeah.
And just say, I'm just done with it. Or again, you have a big portfolio, you just don't like that one particular house. And I've talked to realtors about something that works kind of in my world in financial planning that gives people an option to get out of owned real estate, active real estate, and into more passive real estate. And you can use it either as a permanent solution or a short-term solution, kind of to bridge yourself into something else. And I've had realtors kind of not even want to hear about it, because your goal would be to do a 1031 exchange and sell this property and then help them buy a new one.
Right.
Wonderful, if that's what they need. But as soon as I say, well, it's help them sell one, but then you don't get to help them buy a new one because there's this more passive situation which you wouldn't be involved in. I've seen a lot of realtors that don't even want to talk about it, and people end up staying in the home they don't like because they're not getting the right information. So I'll just say I appreciate the fact that you said, oh,
I think it's a great idea.
that's wonderful, because not everybody is meant to sell one and buy another one.
Or sometimes too, like they just don't find a property that they like, but we're running out of time, so we need to put it somewhere, otherwise they have to pay the taxes. So I feel like it's a good, I mean, no matter what you want to make we're there to work for the clients, not for ourselves. But I think a lot of realtors get that mixed up, and just they look at everyone and everything as a paycheck.
Yeah.
Which kind of is a problem.
And not all. Every camera, not all. But there's some consistency,
yeah.
and it's any world. There's bad people in my business.
Totally.
There's bad people in every business. There's good doctors and bad doctors. So it's not an industry thing. It's nothing specific. It's just the reality of the world.
Yeah.
So just real quickly, the way it works is, just to explain it.
Yeah.
So if you have a property, you need a 1031 exchange, and you own, I don't care what it is, a home, an apartment, a condo, a building, anything that's an appreciated asset in real estate, you can sell that and move it into what we call a more passive investment opportunity, which is through what's called a DST, Delaware Statutory Trust structure, and it allows you to take those proceeds, move them into something that you're not managing. They're professionally managed. It could be a strip mall, it could be an apartment complex, it can be a number of things, and there's choices. The same rules apply with the timing, the debt structure, everything has to be the same, but what it allows you to do is keep the money invested in real estate, not pay the tax, and for some people this is a benefit, not have to manage it anymore. Now, the disclaimer is you may earn less, you may earn more, don't know.
Yeah.
But if it's good enough for what you're trying to accomplish, if you're extremely successful, you're making good money on this, but you just don't want to deal with it, if you can do something that's a similar asset class, avoid all that taxation, and now not have to manage it anymore, there's a benefit to that for some people for the right time.
And the same risk happens if you exchange it for another property too. You
don't know what you're getting.
For a bad one, and the market could tank in that area.
Yeah,
so
and a lot of people always say, I don't want to
risk.
exchange the problems I know for the ones that I don't.
Yes.
So in this, if you go into a single property or out of a single property and into something that's diversified between maybe 7, 8, 10 properties professionally managed by a company that's been doing it for 30, 40, 50 years, there's some sort of stability built into that. And like I said, if nothing else, it gives you some time because you can get in these and then you can get out of them later and get back into other property you want. Or again, a lot of times we see people say, I just love real estate. I just don't want to deal with it anymore and move in there. So I'm happy to hear that you're open to having that discussion with your clients because I think it's a second option. If someone says, I just need out or I got a great offer and I have nowhere to go, it's a backup plan for you.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
What is the holding time for that 1031 exchange too?
It depends on that particular project.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all a little different. Some have some liquidity, some have less liquidity, and it's on a case-by-case basis, but we work with a lot of different companies.
Okay.
So we try to identify the goal. And again, somebody coming out of it that says, I don't want to own real estate and manage it myself anymore, I like this idea, then we may look for something that's a little bit more long-term.
Right.
And then I'm not going to get into it here, but there's some other strategies, which I shared with you a little bit, where it's a two-step process. It's a 1031 into a DST, then move that into a 721, all these tax codes. And
Yeah, I have no idea.
the simplest way to describe it is you can get out of your property, you can get into a professionally managed real estate portfolio, and after about 3 years-ish, there's some reasons behind that, another video, you can then move it into another structure, and then about another 3 years-ish, again, it's based on tax filings and stuff, you can actually start extracting some of your principal out without paying tax. So it's a two-step process to get to the point where, let's just say within 6 to 8 years, reasonably, you can actually start pulling some of your money out without paying that tax on it.
Wow, okay.
So it's a more complex strategy that we use to help people truly exit and gain some liquidity. But then you have to take into consideration real estate. Current tax law has a step up in cost basis if you die. There's some benefits to owning real estate as you transfer it to your heirs, and there's all kinds of things that go on. So I love working with realtors and doing the financial planning piece with the real estate piece when necessary. Not always, but even sometimes if people are just looking to buy something.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, and a lot of people go to their lender and say, what's the most I can qualify for?
Yeah.
I think more people should say, what's the most I should buy based on my overall picture and budget? You know, and certain markets, that's more important. You know, when someone's buying an $8 million home, they're just buying an $8 million home. There's typically not a big problem with financial planning.
Coastal properties tend to be second or third homes.
Yeah. So everybody's a little bit different.
Yes.
But when you're dealing with, let's call it a more normal situation with a family, we're expanding because we just had a kid or a second kid. We need to upgrade for size, but we don't really know what we should do. And incorporating the financial planning process into the real estate purchase, I think, does everybody a service because they're going to be in a place that they're comfortable in. They're not going to end up backing out 2 or 3 years because they bought too much. And so I just love to be involved in that process and really help them. And I think it just makes for a more stable transaction and a better relationship moving forward.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. So what was the name of your baby going to be?
Presley.
Presley, like Elvis Presley.
I know. Everyone keeps asking me that. I'm like, no, it's just
Presley.
It's just Presley.
Yeah. No, I
I
love the
think
name.
it's like a unique girl name. There's really not out there that much.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's cute. I think it's a cute little name.
It's a wonderful name, and you're due in
November. So
November.
Turkey baby on Thanksgiving is my exact due date.
Okay. So how much time are you taking off? So everybody watching, if you want to buy real estate in Newport Beach area, in Phoenix area, Denver area, you're not allowed to buy until Bree gets back to work. So what are you thinking?
Luckily, I actually have a good system where I have partners in Arizona and partners, because I'm part of a team here, where nothing is going to stop. So I'm going to keep working throughout the time, even though it's not me on the field. I'll probably take the whole month of December just to like heal and get back to myself before I'm front facing. But everything is still moving along with the people that I have in all the states. So we can just keep going, but I'm going to have to slow down.
And it's good timing because not a lot of transactions probably happen through December anyway. Yeah.
It's usually slows down, but I'm like knocking on wood, don't want to jinx it because it could be a totally different year. I don't know.
Okay, so I have this theory. Tell me if I'm wrong. I always tell my clients if they can work it on the timing and they're buying a house, try to buy it in early mid-December.
Yes.
Because I feel like if they make an offer then and you as the agent can tell them we can take this off the market and nobody's going to be walking through your house with the Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Is that a time to get a better deal?
Yeah, some sellers actually do love that too. And everyone is just like they're ready for the year to be over.
Just
they want
get it
or
done.
they need it done and sold before the year ends. So it's like case by case basis depending on the seller, but they're like oh God, like I need this done and closed by 2025, or I need to buy something by the end of 2025 for tax purposes or something like that.
Okay. So the quick tip for today was buy in early mid-December and get a better deal?
Yeah, and January is like when everyone is like new year, new home. So everyone sells their home January 1st. You'll see like a skyrocket of people listing their homes come the first couple weeks of January just because they're like, oh, the holidays are over, I'm ready to list again.
What about spring, summer when kids are off? Do you see an increase in purchasing around that time because it just makes sense? Kids are off school, it's an easier time to move. I've always heard that's a bad time to buy as well because there's so much more competition.
So I think it's seasonal per state that you're in. So here in Orange County specifically, you have good weather all year long. I mean, ideally, it's kind of like the market never really slows down. I would say around the holidays. Arizona, worst time to sell your home is in the summer. It's not going to sell. It's going to sit forever. It's too hot. No one's in town. And then Colorado, it's the same thing, but for winter months. If you're going into the winter months, no, it's just not going to sell. It's just no one wants to go out in this blizzard and go look at homes. So I think it's every state has a different season of a hot market versus a different market.
Well, I will tell you, I bought an investment property in Arizona in June. And touring those properties,
it's brutal.
And I didn't know you at the time, but the agent that I was working with was actually 7 months pregnant. So I felt pretty bad for her because I just wanted, like, let's just look at one more and we'll buy it. You look miserable.
And I'm sure you notice people don't leave their AC on even when it's hot there. It's like actually blows my mind.
It was rough. We looked at about 8 or 9 houses in one day, and I remember thinking this is rough. But I also thought at the same time there's not a lot of people out looking right now.
Yeah.
So in reality, we were able to get what I consider to be a pretty decent deal on the house because of that, maybe. So
I agree. No, that actually is 100% accurate for Arizona.
That was a big water day. Lots of hydrating.
I tell all my sellers selling in the summer, I'm like, please keep your AC on, even if it's vacant, because it's too hot for anyone. And no buyer is like comfortable enough to sit in the home long enough. They're like, okay, it's hot. Like, we got to get back to the AC in the car.
Okay. So let's end this. I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake that you think buyers or sellers or both typically make that is kind of easy to maybe fix? It's just this something that you see more often than not or see enough to say this is something that we need to create some awareness.
I feel like it's a timeline of every deal because no matter what, whether you're a seller or a buyer, there's a timeline for every single transaction. And I think if you don't disclose everything of when the inspection period ends, when the appraisal period is, there's a lot of hiccups and mistakes that can be made because you'll get after the inspection period and all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, now I want to back out of the property. So I think it's just advising them of, okay, like if you want this property, this is our timeline. This is when you could back out of the property, and when we're past this, we're kind of screwed. So I think it's honestly timelines on both sides of it that you have to advise them on.
Okay. So you've mentioned it a couple times in different ways, creating realistic expectations.
Yes.
This is what it will probably sell at. This is what we're going to list it at. Let's not be unrealistic. This is how long it should take. These are your windows of opportunity. Let's notice them, know them, and so there's no surprises.
Yes.
Gotcha. So how do people contact you? Right here. That's
you can contact me through cell phone, 602-321-4213. My social is Bree_Roberts_, or even by email, which is bree@thefilegroup.com.
It is B-R-E.
Yes, B-R-E.
B-R-E Roberts.
Yes, B-R-E Roberts. No extra E, no I.
Just
Bree. B-R-E.
Perfect. Anything you want to add?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time coming in. I know we got you just in time. So I'm going to see you tomorrow night.
Yes.
At an event that you're doing.
Yes, I do a private networking event every 3 months for like close clients or business people.
Wonderful. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming after that, may not see you again till after. So appreciate you coming in, and we'll get you out there on social media in this situation, and then maybe we'll do another one post baby and talk about your experience as a new mom.
Love that.
Because I think that's important as well.
Well, thank you for having
me. I know you've
me.
never done this before.
I know. I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I've been YouTubing and TikToking, a bunch of stuff just to figure it all out. But, I don't think we're going to figure it out until she's here.
Yeah, so why don't we plan on doing one maybe 3 to 6 months after you have the baby, and we'll switch from realtor to new mom, and you can kind of give some advice, tips, tricks, and mistakes you made, and we'll do that show.
Yeah, I love that.
Sound good? Cool. Well, thanks for watching. Thank you, Bree. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, if there's something else you want to ask, get a hold of Bree. You know, I'm always here for you. 1031 exchanges. We love them. We'll help you. And as always, like I said in the beginning, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm Jerry. We will see you soon. Have a great day.